Most people remember Lena Zavaroni as that little girl, but with the enormous voice. The applause, the talent, it was phenomenal. But behind the scenes there was something else unfolding, and today we're going to investigate what and visit her grave. Lena Zavaroni, child star with an extraordinary voice, captivated millions, but behind the applause something unforeseen was growing. Lena Zavaroni's story is not just the story of a talented child star. It's the story of a little girl with an extraordinary voice who was placed into a world of adult pressure before she had the emotional defense to survive it. Lena became famous incredibly young, at the age when most children are still protected by their family routines, school, friends, and ordinary childhood. Lena was suddenly on television, winning talent shows, making records, and being praised by adults as something exceptional. And she was exceptional. The voice was real, the talent was real, the charm was real. But psychologically, early fame can come with a hidden cost. Because when children become famous, they can begin to feel that love and approval are connected to the performance. If you sing well, people cheer. If you look right, people approve. If you stay small, polished, controlled, and perfect, the machine keeps moving. And for Lena, that pressure appeared to have arrived just as she was growing up from a child into a young woman. That is a very vulnerable age. Your body is changing, your identity changes, your emotions change. But if the public has already decided who you are supposed to be, there may be very little room to grow naturally. Lena suffered from anorexia nervosa, and with eating disorders, it is rarely just about the food. Often, food becomes the visible part of a much deeper psychological struggle. Control, fear, pressure, perfection, anxiety, self-worth. When life feels too big, too demanding, or too unpredictable, controlling the body can become one of the few things that feels manageable. And that is what makes Lena's story so heartbreaking. Because from the outside, people saw success. They saw a bright smile, the television appearances, the powerful voice, the little girl who seemed to be born to entertain. But inside, something far more painful was taking hold. As the years went on, the illness did not simply disappear. It followed her into adulthood, and depression became part of the struggle too. That matters because depression does not always look like sadness from the outside. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion, withdrawal, loss of confidence, loss of hope, and feeling that the person you once were has somehow slipped away. And for someone like Lena, who had once been known for such energy and brightness, that must have been especially cruel. She did seek help, that is important to say. This was not somebody who simply gave up. She underwent treatments, she tried to keep going, she wanted relief from the suffering, and near the end of her life, she underwent surgery intended to help her with severe depression. For a short time afterwards, there were reports that she'd seemed brighter, even hopeful, and that is perhaps the saddest part, because Lena did not die as someone who had stopped trying. She died as someone who had fought for years, and was still trying to find a way back to herself. Lena Zavaroni died at just 35, far too young, but I think it would have been wrong to remember her only as a tragedy. She was not her illness, she was not just anorexia, she was not just depression, she was not just that sad ending. She was a daughter, a performer, a gifted singer, a young girl from Scotland with a remarkable voice, who gave joy to millions of people. And perhaps the lesson from Lena's life is not simply that fame can damage people. It is more human than that. It reminds us that the talent does not protect someone from the pain. Applause does not always heal insecurity. And being loved by an audience is not the same as feeling safe inside yourself. But there is also something important to say here. People can recover from eating disorders. People can recover from depression. People can rebuild their lives with the right support, patience, treatment, and understanding. Lena's story should not leave us hopeless. It should leave us more compassionate, more aware of what pressures can do, more aware with young performers, more understanding of people who suffer quietly, and more willing to look behind a smile. Because sometimes the brightest performers are carrying battles that the audience never sees. Hello, Lena. Okay, let's have a look. It's a pretty little thing, like the lady herself. So it says Lena Zavaroni, 4th of the 11th, 63 to the 1st of the 10th, 1999. And there we've got a picture of her. Isn't she cute? There, look. Lovely girl. Lovely smile. And it says by the stone, oh, we've got some flowers, look. Dear Lena, you are remembered with much love by your fans. Heart, kiss, kiss, kiss. That's lovely. Put that back in there where it should be. Right, let's read the stone here. Make sure you can see it okay. Yeah, there we are. Right, it says, dear daughter and sister, close your eyes, my little nightingale, for you will sing no more. You left your gentle mark on fame upon the earthly shore. We love you for your humbleness and unassuming pose. You shone just like the brightest stars outshone the fairest rose. Good night, God bless, Lena, R.I.P. You were a beautiful little soul and a beautiful looking girl. I'm very sorry about what happened to you. It's terrible. It's a nice spot where she is, that's all I can say. And her fans still, 23 years later, are still bringing her flowers, so she was a talent, for sure. There we go. Sends a shiver down your spine, this one, it really does. Okay, Lena. I hope you're in a better place now. Wow, that's super sad, that one, isn't it? It sent shivers down my spine, I swear. I think this is the hardest one I had to watch and research before doing it. It just made you feel sad last night when I was watching the things on YouTube. You know, I when I was younger, I read some sort of self-help psychology, because I always think your mind is the most important thing you've got, because it's you, isn't it? And I read this book by a guy called Walter Staples, actually, and he said if you put down a line on a piece of paper and put the bad things that you do on the left and the good things on the right, or whichever, you always find a list of the good things far outweighs the things in the bad column. So don't berate yourself when you do something wrong or stupid, because in the day you've done a lot of good. And the other thing is, if you wrote down every little problem that you think is going to happen in the future that you're worried about, popped it into a drawer for a month or a year or whatever, open the drawer, read the papers, and you'll find virtually nothing of what you were worried about actually happens. It's because we think of the worst scenario, don't we? So there was lots of it in that book like that, lots of advice, and you know, and people sometimes they see the fault that you've done and they try and tell you off, but you've got to cling on to the fact that you're a good person and that you've done a lot of good in that day and in your life and done the best you can do. And that's what everybody does try to do, usually, unless they're evil. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sound corny with this, I really believe it. So don't let anyone put you down. Do your best, and that's all you can do. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss future videos. Give me a thumbs up and a comment, because I do like the comments. I like to read them and get to know everybody. I'm from a very pretty cemetery with a pretty sad story there, really. I'm going to say I'm going to have a good day. I'm not going to let it get me down. Okay, I'll see you all soon. Take care from me, Alan, at Motorhome Beep Beep. See ya. Bye bye.